I woke up Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, and after playing a few games of Woodoku on my phone, because even though I hate that game, I'm addicted to it, I decided to get even more frustrated by logging on to Twitter. Now, if you're a Twitter addict, like me, you have no soul. You know, you're the kind of person that could probably get addicted to swimming in an ocean of diarrhea, because that's what Twitter is. It's a big diarrhea ocean where some of us have been somehow tricked into swimming. Twitter's a place where everything important is meaningless and everything trivial is an outrage. It's a place that overstimulates you until you're either numb or furious. A place where compassion is not worth its weight in spit, and everyone is one disagreement away from despising yesterday's best friend. It's not a place that I expect to get shook, though, because I know better than to bring my vulnerability to Twitter. Going to Twitter with an open heart is like rolling naked over 100 porcupines and 24 cacti. But on this Sunday afternoon, with my Woodoku frustration still buzzing in my being and my emotional shield up, I went on Twitter and I almost immediately saw this tweet. Victoria tweets, "This world failed you, Eden. The time we spent hanging out and meeting you, I will always cherish. You were a bright light and one of the strongest people I've ever known. Rest in peace, friend." And she's quote tweeted a post by a user called Eden Knight. I'd never heard of Eden Knight, but I knew Victoria a little. You know, she's a Twitter acquaintance who tweets an odd banger here and there. So my curiosity was a little bit piqued. I clicked the link and I read Eden's twit longer, and it was one of the most disturbing stories I've ever read because it speaks to so many of the issues I care about. I'm going to read it to you guys in its entirety. Final message. Hi, if you're reading this, I've already killed myself. I have given life every opportunity. I have given myself every chance to get better, but I couldn't do it. I wasn't strong enough. I don't think there was a universe where I was ever strong enough to survive this. Why? Sometime in the summer, I was contacted by Michael Pokaliko, cybersecurity guy, through an IRL friend who claimed he was a fixer and wanted to fix the issues that was between me and my parents. I thought this was impossible. I'm transgender and they are strict conservative Muslims, but I decided I would give it a shot because it can't hurt, right? LMAO. Over the next couple of months, I had called Michael Pokaliko and his associate Ellen. These calls seemed innocuous and honestly pretty helpful. It was mainly questions about my safety and whether I had my needs met at the place I was staying at. Towards the end of my stay at my friend's place, I had witnessed a traumatic event and was already in a bad place mentally. Michael took note of this and decided to push me to leave Georgia and move back to Virginia. Michael and Ellen, along with a Saudi lawyer named Batter, met me at a train station. I was taken to a hotel and allowed to experience DC. I genuinely was optimistic and believed this could work. God, I wish I wasn't so fucking stupid. At this point, the only person in that group that I was in contact with was Bader, the Saudi lawyer. Bader, throughout this entire time, in his weird way, tried to get me to detransition. First, he pampered me. He got me an apartment temporarily. He took me out to eat. He took me to therapists. But over time, the more conversations I had with him in person, the more I realized what he was trying to do. He tried to get me to be normal. Gave me examples of feminine men and said they are transgender, but they are hiding it, that it's better to hide it. Told me stories personally about people he knew that successfully hid it. Repeated constantly that I can just hold two lives, the female me and the male me. Constantly said I looked like a man, always talked down on my appearance, bought me masculine clothing and tried to throw away all my feminine clothing. At every step of the way, he tried to detransition me. I had a breakdown over this and bombarded Michael Pokaliko and Ellen with texts about what was happening. They did not respond. I did not realize fast enough what was happening because I'm fucking stupid. At a certain point, I realized I was entirely dependent on Bader for food and shelter, and that if I ran away, he could easily find my location since I was illegal. I would have been deported to Saudi. I subconsciously gave up. I was too tired. I did everything he asked. I cut my hair. I stopped taking estrogen. I changed my wardrobe. I met my dad. And then I had another breakdown. My mom kept telling me to repent or I was going to hell, and I did. I repented. I believed I was going to hell so much that I read the entire Quran front to back in a couple of days, crying the entire fucking time about what a disgusting thing I am, and I didn't sleep. I repented, and I was broken. Bader then booked a flight back to Saudi, and I came back. The first month was fine, okay even. I was on edge the entire time, but I was treated like I was going to run it any second by my family. Then came the second month. At this point, I was subjected to daily searches of my belongings. My mom searched all of my electronics whenever she got the chance. I was berated for being a freak when my mom found my private photos. My dad called me a failure and an abomination. I was told that Michael, Ellen, and Bader were actually all specifically hired to get me back and that there was no escape from my situation. I was destroyed, but I wanted to keep going. After the first time they found my HRT, it was traumatizing, but I didn't want to stop. I didn't want to live if I couldn't transition. Then the second time came. After that, I took a break off of HRT and then got back on it. They found my HRT again, and I am done fighting. I wasn't always a good or even decent person. At times, I was a fucking asshole and a disgusting human being. But there were times I feel like I was good. I don't understand why I was given this life with these circumstances. Every day hurts. Every second stings. I have tried killing myself in the past, but every single time I was still holding on by a thread somewhere deep inside me. I think that's why I survived them. This time, I am done. I am tired. Message to the people I love. To my friends, to the people I chose to be my family, to my girlfriend, to everyone who has shown me kindness in this life, I sincerely thank you. You made an unbearable existence bearable at times. I am deeply sorry I have disappointed you all. I wish things were different. I wish this message was a message about how I won, how I escaped and built a successful life, how I managed to get FFS, SRS, and beat my dysphoria. I wish I was speaking to you about how proud I am of myself to have done the impossible, but that's not my reality. I wish this world wasn't so fucking comically cruel. I am actually laughing writing this sentence. It's unironically ridiculous how bad my luck has been the past couple of weeks. Someone just walked past my car and glanced at me. I wonder if they know I'm gonna kill myself. I wonder what they would think about me if they knew who I actually was. I wanted to be a leader for people like me, but that wasn't written to happen. I hope that the world gets better for us. I hope our people get old. I hope we get to see our kids grow up to fight for us. I hope for trans rights worldwide. Goodbye, Heart. Michael Pokalyko, the man from the letter, who identified himself as a fixer, is a powerful political and business insider with ties to numerous right-wing organizations. He is, among many other things, the CEO of a company called Special Investigations Limited Company, or PSI for short. Now, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be pronounced Psy or SI, but I'm going to use Psy because that's what I feel like doing. This is from their website. PSI is a professional services firm and governmental contractor in the investigations, intelligence, and cyber sectors based in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, operating business units Spec NV, Special Investigations, and PSI Cyber worldwide. PSI is a federal government prime contractor serving commercial and government clients. The corporation began operations in 2014 as Special Investigations Limited Company, the first investigative firm formed out of the securities and financial services industries. By the way, the Ellen from Eden's suicide note is most likely Ellen Cole, who sits on the board of SI, or PSI, as the managing director. So let's get all this straight. A powerful group of cybersecurity bigwigs with political and business connections of the highest caliber conspiring to wrangle a trans girl back to Saudi Arabia for forced detransition. It's mind-boggling to think that such powerful people would personally oversee such a low-down pursuit. But perhaps it's less surprising when you realize that Eden's father was Fahad al-Shathri, the deputy governor for research and international affairs at the Saudi Central Bank, a state-owned financial institution with assets in the hundreds of billions. This story just seems to have every ingredient to upset me. It has a good person who is just trying to live her life, but who was manipulated and exploited until they were left with an impossible choice, whether to conform to an inauthentic life foisted upon them by others or end it all. It has a group of powerful people with mountains of money and dust motes of humanity using their tremendous power and resources to deprive another human being of choice. It has the corrupting toxicity of faith. Because I'm sorry, but bullying your own child into killing herself isn't normal. But on religion it is. It has America's meaninglessly cruel immigration policies, resulting in a scenario where government policy provides the perfect tool for exploiters to gain power over their victims, blackmailing them with their illegal status. So I spent all of Sunday chewing on all of that stuff, feeling it a lot more acutely than I normally do, because this one really found its way through my emotional shields a bit, and I was affected in ways that I'm not actually used to. I don't normally give a rat's ass about this world because it's just a festering ball of shit, in my opinion. But stories like this hurt because they remind me of the cruelest truth that I know. We could do better than this. We could be better than this. But we don't, and we aren't. And that's the real sting behind the slap. And so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I was basically dead to the world. I ate popcorners. Even after I swore I'd never do that because that horrible sellout Breaking Bad commercial. They're pretty good, by the way.
Say their name.
No.
Say their name.
Popcorners. You want to know how fucking checked out I was? I watched multiple episodes of Family Guy, okay? And I don't mean like Family Guy was on in the background while I did other things. I was actively devoting the totality of my attention to episode after episode of Family Guy. I'm talking a lot about myself here. So I'm sure someone's going to tell me that I'm making this a tragedy of Edenite suicide about me. But that's the thing. It is about me. And it's about you too. It's about all of us. Because this story takes place at the intersection of several different forms of societal rot that we have, all of us, failed to meaningfully challenge. So let's talk about what needs to happen to prevent this from ever happening again. I'm glad you asked me, because it's fucking easy. Number one, trans rights should be guaranteed. That means the repeal of any current anti-trans legislation currently on the books, massive civil disobedience in the face of any such laws that do remain on the books, federal protections for trans people against any and all forms of discrimination, and asylum for trans people who come to this country for sanctuary. Second, immigration policy should be reformed to allow as many people into this country as can feasibly be integrated. No more trying our best to exclude as many as possible. We should be welcoming as many as possible. Third, religion is a weed that should be plucked from the Garden of Humanity. We must no longer allow faith-based positions to share equal or even higher footing than reason. Myth must take a back seat to fact. Spirituality must take a back seat to reality. Fourth, we need to get these rich bastards under control. I don't have a problem with a person who contributes to society in an outsized way, enjoying an abundance of luxury, but we don't live in a meritocracy, guys. We live in a system that rewards underhandedness, cruelty, and greed. And thus, the people at the top of our society are oftentimes the people who belong in a sewer. The people who belong at the top are people like Eden Knight. The saddest thing to me is this: how could parents have such an exceptional child, and instead of being grateful, they do every cruel and debasing thing possible? They spend money and favors and hatch wicked schemes against their own blood until their daughter lay dead. And now they're gonna bury her under her dead name, under a false gender. They're going to disrespect her even in death. That's so twisted, so incomprehensible in its cruelty and its stupidity. We can do better. So why don't we? I'm the Amazing Atheist, and I'm waiting for you.